Yes,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. When you hear
Thank you.
this, you can automatically start.
Yeah, thank you. Just have a sip of water. So, guys, you never go for a fight without your weapons. Okay. So you have to get yourself ready before you approach any professor, before you apply to any graduate position, or before you want to get out of your comfort zone. I say that comfort zone because if somebody is working in Pakistan still, if somebody is still studying in Pakistan, this is our comfort zone, and we are studying here. It looks very fancy from there, but we are out of our comfort zone, and it's not easy, believe me, but it's worth it. So preparing for the competition, undergrads, I'll go with undergrads first because I was under. I think I should share my history a little bit. Well, guys, when I was an undergrad in DVM in Pakistan, studying in Jung, my CGPA I graduated with is 3.1. Yes, you heard it right. My CGPA is 3.1. And what is the thing that stood me out? Why am I in Canada with the 3.1 CGPA on a fully funded scholarship? Many of the people have this question in Pakistan, and I don't know, they might get the answer or not, but uh, I would say that these people in West, they are changing their criterias. They don't need bookworms now. They know how system is working in our countries. So they know how we get publications. They know how we get CGPA. They know how we get grades. They know everything now. Okay, they know our system. So they know how to hire a person from that system. And when I was hired, I had zero publication. I had zero publication. I had 3.1 CGPA. So why did they fund me? Are they not sane enough? No, they are very intelligent, but they look for right candidates now. So how to be a right candidate? I'm going to talk about Canada and US only because in other countries like still in China, Hong Kong. I've never been there, just talking to people. So they tell me that they still value your CGPA, they still value the publications. So if somebody is targeting those countries, you should go with CGPA, you should go with publications. But so if somebody is targeting Canada, specifically Canada, in US they still value some of these things, but specifically in Canada, system is very changed now because they get most of their labor, I would call it labor, from South Asia, from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh. So they know how system works there. They are working according to that. However, what worked for me was it was my volunteer work. I used to be in the lab. There was not even a single summer I was at my home, and my mom is still angry with me at this. I've never been home in any summer. I was at my campus. I still there were some days when I was the only student in hostels. I used to work in labs with my teachers, and I give full credit to my teachers for this. They allowed me to work there. They supported me. They funded me, and they morally and financially and what do you need when you hear your teacher saying, "Okay, Jahangir, you can work in the lab. I'm here to teach you. If you do something wrong, come to me. I can fix that." This is all you need from your teachers, and my teachers did it for me. I'm still thankful to them. What I did was, uh, I worked in with some PIs in my college. In their projects, I used at very start when I was a fourth semester student. Yeah, in second year of my DVM during my fourth semester, I used to work with postgrads, people who were doing their MPhil and their PhDs in our labs. No one was PhD. Yeah, only MPhil. People who were doing their MPhil, I used to work with them. What I used to do, I just used to count the eggs of parasites. That was enough for a fourth semester student. This is how you start. They're not going to get you to the PCR machines in your fourth semester. Don't expect this. But if you know the basic, if your teachers and the postgrads, they see you working in the lab, you're going there daily, you're working, you're showing them, yeah, yeah, I'm interested to learn some science, then they will let you learn the science. They will let you touch those machines. They will let you work with those machines. And if you work with those machines, The people in Canada, they need you. They need an undergrad student who has the experience to work with molecular techniques, who has the experience to work with the fancy science stuff. So you can do this. You can work with the postgrads. What else you can do is you can volunteer, or you can be an internee at diagnostic labs or university labs. Why I would suggest this is because you would have the experience to, or an opportunity to work with the equipment, to work with that fancy science stuff. You get to do the PCR. You get to do work with sequencing data. You have to you get to sit between those people who talk about science. That's enough. You're sitting with professors. They are talking about publications. They're talking about research. You hear them, you get motivated. This will motivate you. Then stay in touch with your teachers. I am here because I was in touch with my teachers. My teachers, I will give them whole credit. They did everything for me. They supported me. I was a good student for some of them, and they really supported me. And I would suggest you guys to stay in touch with your teachers. Go to their offices, ask them, sir, can I work? They won't let an undergrad work at his first day. Okay, you go to their office, sir, I want to work in research. They will let you work with PCR machines. No, they won't. They will ask you, okay, come tomorrow. You're going there tomorrow. Then okay, we are busy. Come the next day. You're going the next day. They're like, okay, this guy is really interested. We should sit and talk about this. Then they will let you sit with them, and they will talk about your interest, and then they will create an opportunity for you. What else you can do is summer work. Guys, invest your time in your summers in the right directions. If you want to be in research, don't go to clinics. Don't go to pet clinics. If you want to be in research, you're a fourth semester student, start from there. Go to the lab instead of a clinic. All your batch is going to clinic. I know it's very fancy to do some surgeries and put some pictures on social media. I used to do that. But is it your goal? If you're going for the clinical, then you should invest your summers in your clinicals. But if you're not going for clinicals, you should never ever go to a clinic. You should go to a lab. I would suggest my juniors, or whatever, whoever is on this journey and still an undergrad, you guys should invest your summers wisely. Don't waste them. Then this is the most important part. I had a C grade in my statistics, but I had to learn it after my final year, so I'm not ashamed of that. You have to learn basic statistics during your undergrad. You have to learn ANOVA, that mean, median, mode, those formulas. Learn them, guys, because I didn't and I suffered. Then what you have to do is go for bioinformatics stuff. We had a teacher. We never knew about R language. I don't know how many of you are familiar with R language, R, Python. These are computer languages. We had a teacher. I would love to name him. His name is Dr. Ali Zohaib, and this guy introduced us to our language. I still remember in our fifth semester, we were studying epidemiology at Sivas Chung, and he was our instructor. He told us about our language. He made us to install this on our laptops and computers, and we used to practice, and we used to hate him for this. But now I am so thankful to that guy that he introduced me to R, and then I learned it later from some other sources. I will mention them for you. Guys, go with this one. During your summer, you should work in lab, and meanwhile, you should work on your basic statistics and bioinformatics. And if you are not somewhere after 2 years, you can call me and say, "Oh, you were lying." Does publication matter? I would say no. For Canada, they don't matter right now, because we have some students in Canada right now. They are doing their PhDs. They are in their third year or fourth year, and they still have one or two publication. And in Pakistan, you see an undergrad with 10 publications. These guys are not mental. They know how can somebody get 10 publications during his undergrad. Okay, they don't need those super alien guys. They need regular people who can work in lab for them. What areas to focus? Guys, you need to focus on bioinformatics. I will suggest focus on bioinformatics. We need bioinformaticians in every field right now. And if you are a veterinarian and you can work with data really well, you are in demand. You don't know how much the world will uh, literally they will grab you. Other areas we can talk about it later. Okay, come for the professionals. You guys are graduated. It's okay. Somebody is working on a dairy farm. Somebody is working at a job in a pet center, and somebody is working at a poultry. Somebody is working in marketing. Everybody's working in this diverse field. But still, you want to be in research. Sorry. Yeah. Still, you guys want to be in research. Still, you guys want to secure a scholarship or want to walk on this path. I would say. How can you do this? I worked as a professional for 6 months, 6 or 7 months. Yeah, I worked as a professional in field and I was still in touch with these research activities. You guys can do this also. Just what you have to do is you have to be specific. Undergrads, they have their own way to choose. They can not they can be non-specific. They can go to microbiology lab one day and to parasitology lab the other day, and at the third day they can go to the epidemiology stuff. But you guys have to be specific. If somebody is working in dairy sector, the best opportunity for research for them is dairy. They should go with cows. And somebody is working with pets, they should go with dogs and cats. Somebody is working in marketing, they have a lot of opportunities. They can get samples from everywhere. These marketing guys, they have the tricks. So again, choose your niche according to your profession. If you're working with horses, you are an equine veterinarian, you can choose horses for research. Then you have to make your thinking research based. How does this work? When I was working as a professional, I was working with an NGO. Many of you know where I was working. So I was working with the NGO. I used to do was I used to look at around with, like, I was working on stray dogs, and I used to work with public. I used to work on this public health stuff. I traveled all across the country during the floods, and I worked on some public health issues. Every time I went somewhere in Balochistan, in Sindh, in Punjab, in KPK, everybody, everywhere, wherever I went, I used to look at, okay, which diseases are prevalent here? From where can I get sampling? Oh, if I get this water samples, can I get something out of it? This is how you need to think. You get a patient at your clinic, and your brain should work in a different way. I know you are a clinician, and clinic is not that much difficult in Pakistan. I've done that. We all do symptomatic treatments. What you have to do is do that symptomatic treatment, do that surgery, but think about research too. Think, okay, can I get blood sample from this animal? Maybe I can get something interesting out of it. Get the blood sample. Nobody will stop you. The owner will not say, "Why are you getting blood samples?" Or either you can send him the blood work done from the university, or you can send them the microbiology results. What I am talking about is you can sample from your patients, you can sample from your cows, you can sample from your horses, you can sample while you are doing your marketing stuff. Then what you have to do is affiliate yourself with a research institute, lab, PI, postgrad, anybody who is inside a lab. Just affiliate yourself with them. This is not difficult. To- Email them, talk to them. Okay, can I come to your lab for one day in a week? What you have to do is collect samples, send those samples to them, or just collect them in your freezer, then take those samples after every week to the lab for a few hours, and you have to perform those experiments on those samples. Perform the experiments, get the results, compile the data. An undergrad will do this work in 3 months summer, but you will do this work in 1 year. But at least you're doing something for your goal. If your goal is a scholarship or research, at least you're doing something. If you are just at a dairy farm, you're doing those p tests, you are just recording the milking records, you are just looking after the labor, you're doing nothing for your goal. But if you are collecting one sample in 1 week, at least you are doing something for your goal. This is what I'm talking about. It is difficult, but it's not impossible if you want to walk on this path which we are talking about. You can do part-time work in the lab. You can if you're free from your job at 4 p.m., you can go to a lab at 5 or 6 and you can spend only 2 hours there. And you just have to get an experience certificate from that lab. That this guy worked in our lab for 2 hours as a part time, and he has experience in PCR, he has experience in molecular techniques or whatever that lab offers. What other thing you can do is you can also learn this bioinformatics. You are at a pet clinic, at a dairy farm, wherever you work. Okay, you have your laptop with you. What you have to do is you just have to stay in touch with your laptop. You have to learn bioinformatics, learn statistics, learn data science at your job, at your dairy farm, or at your clinic. But you will invest 1 year in this path, and after 1 year you can see a clear change in your profile, and you will be able to compete with other guys for these positions, and you can approach professors, and you will be more valuable. Believe me, you will be more valuable because you will have experience on a dairy farm, and then you worked on cattle diseases in research. They need you guys, those who are not afraid of working with animals, those who know how this dairy farm stuff work, how this farm thing works, and when mastitis occurs, how do they manage the herd level diseases. They know, you know that. Every dairy farm veterinarian knows that. And if that veterinarian has the research experience, you don't know how valuable you are then. So guys, work on yourself for 1 hour, 1 year, or maybe 1.5 year, and then you will be more valuable than any of the undergrad who worked all his summer, like 4 or 5 summers. This guy worked in labs, but you worked for 1 year, then you are more valuable than this guy. Publications, yeah, you can publish some things. You can, or you publish or not, I would suggest, because from my experience, I see that publications don't matter. What to focus? I told you what to focus. Uh, let's move forward. Yeah, preparing for the competition. Hamza, we can stop here.